a very, very special and important word from one of the smartest people, one of the wisest people, the great John Cleese, star of Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, and Twitter fame? Hello, everyone. I am still Becca Random 42, the one, the only, the original, still your favorite YouTube consumer advocate. If you guys do like the channel, definitely like, subscribe, share, all the things. We're in the middle of a live stream, so anything you say might pop up. I do have to, before we get into the update about Fawlty Towers, we've got to talk a little bit about what happened. Well, recently, during a whole lot of current events, people were in a rush to remove things that might be offensive, remove things that people might have a problem with, and John Cleese has spoken out about it. He's since called it stupid, basically. He's called it stupid. But you know what? I wanted to play this clip from the Big Think, I believe it is. I might be pausing it and talking over it, so bear with me because copyright's a weird thing, and I like to at least transform it before I completely take something. And this is on Twitter, so here we go. Boom! John Cleese is talking about this.
Said something very interesting to me. He said, if people can't control their own emotions, then they have to start trying to control other people's behavior.
Ooh! Oh? Who does that remind us of? Who does that remind us of,
And when you're around super sensitive people, you cannot relax and be spontaneous because you've no idea what's going to upset them next.
Ooh, like all those celebrities in that I take responsibility because I am more important than any of you because my feelings and my message is so much more. Yeah, all that stuff.
And that's why I've been warned recently, don't go to most university campuses, because the political correctness has been taken from being a good idea, which is let's not be mean, particularly to people who are not able to look after themselves very well. That's a good idea, to the point where any kind of criticism of any individual or group can be labeled cruel.
I gotta interrupt there. I gotta interrupt again. Yes, this is exactly the type of thing I've been saying, that when I complain about something like Star Trek Discovery and the main character Michael Burnham, for example, played by African-American actress Sonequa Martin Green, people assume that that is an attack or anything. And I'm like, no, that character would suck no matter who played it. That character would suck if it's an old white dude. And this is the same exact sort of thing that he's talking about here, where people can't understand being, even critical of, and I'm just kind of taking it one step further, being critical of something that happens to be starring somebody of a certain ethnic group, orientation, etc. Like, we gotta let him speak. He's smarter than me.
And the whole point about humor, the whole point about comedy, and believe you me, I've thought about this, is that all comedy is critical. Even if you make a very inclusive joke, like, how'd you make God laugh? Answer, tell him your plans. Now, that's about the human condition. It's not excluding anyone. It's saying we all have all...
But, what if I'm of this religion and... Yeah, exactly. Just what he says. Shelby MD, okay, boomer. He's just an award-winning actor. I mean, you've even seen Star Trek Discovery. Have you even seen Star Trek Discovery that smart? No, Star Trek Discovery isn't smart. Star Trek Discovery is not smart. I'm answering everybody in chat here, too. Trevor Random says John knows the truth. Yeah, John Cleese has always been somebody I've admired for being very, very intelligent and respectable and reasonable.
These plans, which probably won't come, and isn't it funny how we still believe they're going to happen? So that's a very inclusive joke. It's still critical. All humor is critical. And if you start saying, we mustn't criticize or offend them, then humor's gone. With humor goes a sense of proportion. And then as far as I'm concerned, you're living in 1984.
Yep. Now, with that in mind, we do have to talk about the Fawlty Towers episode that was recently removed from British, iTunes. It was removed from streaming. It was removed from a lot of things here. And we do have an update on that. where, here we go. Why do they do this? They always pop up these players whenever I'm popping up articles. This comes from the Daily Mail. Fawlty Towers, Don't Mention the War episode will be reinstated with a warning by BBC-owned UK TV after John Cleese blasted the stupid decision to remove it. The Germans episode will return with warnings and highlighting offensive content. See, you know what? That has been my whole entire point of all this in the beginning, is that you want to at least give people the ability to understand why they're being offended. Because once they take away that even ability to understand what's offensive about it, then we just end up with a bunch of idiocracy people running around trying to destroy and break everything and tear down everything and censor and make it so that nobody has a choice of doing the right thing or not. Like, I'm sorry, I want to know exactly what I'm supposed to be offended by before I jump on the that's it bandwagon, because guess what? A lot of the times things that people just blanketly point out as offensive or whatever, they're offended for a completely unrelated reason, and they're not offended for it for what it's actually supposed to say. Like the episode in Fawlty Towers, for example, which I'm a huge fan of, as you guys know. Probably the best episode of Fawlty Towers, in my opinion. The Germans episode, you know? British brainwashing cult, Trevor Random says. Now, I know Trevor Random is a Brit. He's one of my Brits. This is why I always try and cater to my Brits, because I grew up on the British television. I am a huge Monty Python, Fawlty Towers, Little Britain, Mighty Boosh, Bottom, Young Ones. I love the British comedy. I love the British comedy because, yes, sometimes it can be offensive, and sometimes you can be like, oh, that's hilarious, and that's so bad. And in the case of Fawlty Towers, the stuff that is insensitive for a reason, to point out how bad those people who think that way are, right? It's not glorifying the major in any way. It's not only is it saying, hey, he's kind of an insensitive old fart, but hey, look how far we've come in a lot of these things. And the whole point of the episode was to understand why and what, and Little Britain has been pulled also. Yeah, I've done videos about that one. This is probably my third in a row now of all of these, and I definitely wanted to come in and touch on this again, because that's been my whole entire point with all this. This is the same shit I've been fighting since the days of fighting the PMRC and the moral majority. It's the same crap. I do not want a bunch of people who I feel are not smart enough to understand what they're doing telling me what I can and can't watch and enjoy and listen to and read. Because when I don't have the choice to make the right decision and to be aware that something that I laughed at 20 years ago might be pretty damn offensive by today's standards, yeah, I don't want to have a bunch of people I feel aren't smart enough to understand shit about shit deciding what I can and can't watch or say or think. Drewby, hey Harpy Lady, hope you're doing well. Jordan Lyons, I'd like to write a letter on my experience of dealings with the BBC, horrendous organization. Russell Hale, so people are now having a problem with how Manuel was treated in the show. No, nobody is even offended on Manuel. Also, in other countries, I believe that Manuel was not Spanish, he was Italian. So, that was another one. Round of applause for our commentator, MJ again. Well, thank you so much. Red Dwarf has a lot of offensive stuff also. Just look how Crichton talks to everyone. Well, Crichton is a robot. Crichton is a little bit of a fuddy-duddy. Yeah, there's a lot of offensive stuff in British comedy, but you know what else is in British comedy? Funny is in British comedy. You know, I don't like John Cleese said, I don't like having to walk on eggshells just because somebody might be offended. I don't want to live in a world where you can't say and speak and do everything. This is why I stopped gaming on my channel. This is why I went from a gaming channel where it drew a crowd of people who are very, very, very much younger than I am, and you couldn't say stuff like the word shit without people saying, oh, you swore, I'm not allowed to watch you because you swore. All right. I'm a grown woman and I can swear, and the fact that I'm babysitting now is not what I wanted to do with my life, nor do I want to be walking on eggshells because now I'm all of a sudden in this position where I'm babysitting, and I don't want to be the one babysitting society, and I don't think society is really, really capable right now of telling me what I can and can't say. Can you write in letters? I don't know. Stan Lee, well, this was less than 30 years after the war. That's true. Reggie Wolfpack, damn it ain't nothing but a TV show. Trevor Random says boycott the BBC. Oh, a lot of people are really upset over the BBC about the whole Doctor Who stuff, which, oh yeah, they screwed the pooch on Doctor Who. They screwed the pooch on all of it. I'm scrolling back to see what else you guys are saying. Shelby MD, I believe the only way not to offend anyone is to have a plank of wood as the main character. Well, no, we already have that. We have that, and like I said, in Star Trek Discovery, we do have a plank of wood as the main character, and people are like, oh, you said something bad about a woman who looks like this. I wasn't saying anything about her skin color or her hair. The character would be shit if it were played by an old white dude too, and their name's Michael. That's just the whole community mentality. That's the whole mob mentality. I hate mob mentality. I hate NPC culture. I hate groupthink of any kind, and it really, really offends my sensibilities that we have to fight to be heard, that we have to fight to say, hey, no, just because the lowest common denominator of society needs to be babied and protected so they don't be offended by everything, the rest of us don't have to suffer, right? The rest of us who can actually make these decisions for ourselves and we don't need the safety corners on every wall in our house, because guess what? We know not to run head first into them. Guess what? We know that. We don't need to have all of these added layers of protection to ourselves. And you know what? We can take responsibility for ourselves. If I don't want to hear the N-word, for example, I can block that from everything on my channel. And that's what I do, because I don't want to hear it. If I want to avoid something, if I want to censor something out of my life, I have the ability to do so. I'm a grown adult. I would demand to be treated like one. And the fact that we are catering to the biggest crybabies of society as a whole is disgusting. They are the biggest crybabies. They are the lowest common denominator of intelligence. And they have ruined the fun for everybody, because now we have to have a helmet on everything. We have to have safety cushions and precautions and everything. And I am so sick and tired of this crap. And I am not going to take this anymore. Alexander the Great says Brie Larson's a plank of wood. Be nice and be kind. They say the Grinch is offensive. Yeah, everything can be offensive if you look at it in a way that offends you about it. Or if you take 2 seconds and really, really look into why it's offensive, then maybe learn from it instead of just going around with your fingers in your ears going, la la la, I don't want to learn about World War II because it makes me sad. Yeah, good. It's supposed to. It was bad and bad things happen. And you know what? If you don't learn from it, you're going out there right now and repeating it, aren't you? Yeah, you are. And I'm tired of it. Right, people don't understand. We talk about characters, not the actors. Exactly, and I get sick of it. And I've been dealing with this crap for years, dealing with Star Trek Discovery. Trevor Random, it's all about control over our thoughts while taking our money. Sam Lee, oh, Miss Mecca, I still need to see the one true... What are you saying here? I lost it. The one true vid. Look at the wall of nerd behind you. You got so much I want to see. Well, all this stuff's going into the other room probably soon. And I'm just going to focus on the more organized stuff, because it looks like there's a lot of shit behind me, and I don't want it to look so cluttered and messy. Well, I'm offended that they're offended. I am too. Chaos Ahoy, fuck SJWs, they don't matter. Exactly. That's the thing. I don't like the very hypocritical, and I don't like the very childish baby sort of mentality that we are now catering to. And I didn't like it when they were the PMRC, and I didn't like it when, there's compromises. What happened in the day? They put a warning label on records, and that's what they're doing here. They're learning from what we used to do back in our day, which was, if you're offended by something, put a warning label on it. Make it age restricted so that people can't just go in and watch it without any context, right? I don't have a problem with having a warning label in front of a Fawlty Towers episode, as long as I have the ability to watch the thing. Because the second you take away my choice, that means I'm going to go and buy that thing, right? The second that they banned Two Live Crew's As Nasty As They Want to Be album, how many record copies got sold because of that? I probably bought one, and I don't even like rap. It was the whole principle of the thing. Don't censor my entertainment just because somebody finds it offensive. It is the same thing when they were censoring the F word out of records from Walmart. It's the same thing now. There's a time and a place for it, believe you me. Like, I don't want to hear F words in Star Trek. Shut the fuck up. And I don't really want to have no choice to watch stuff that I do want to see. Censorship is a sin. Shelby MD says, I want to know about World War II. I don't want to know about World War II. It makes me sad. So you want it to be about 6 million people go if to a farm, they'll be live happily forever. If we talk about crap in the direction of comic shows and movies, well, the stuff that I know more about is British TV, but yeah. I would wrap up the video portion of this. Thanks for sticking with me on that. And if you do like the stuff, like Riddle Forest here, gets a jiggle for subscribing. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'm going back to my live chat. Don't you guys go anywhere.